Hello everyone and welcome to today's Explainer. I am so incredibly excited to unpack this one for you. You know, when most of us hear the word Nepal, a very specific, kind of stereotypical image immediately pops into our heads. We picture rugged mountaineers, freezing temperatures, and just endless towering peaks of white snow. But what if I told you that those snowy mountains are really only a fraction of the story? Today, we're going to completely shatter the illusion that Nepal is just about the high Himalayas. We are diving into a quick, visual introduction of the incredible and frankly shocking geographical extremes of this amazing country. We'll break down exactly when and how to plan the perfect trip based on your specific interests, whether that's high-altitude trekking in the spring and autumn, tracking wildlife down in the Terai, or jumping into massive cultural celebrations like Dashain, Tihar, and Holi.
8,849 meters. That is Mount Everest, standing right at the roof of the world. But here is the truly fascinating part that a lot of people just don't realize. Nepal's landscape actually starts at just 100 meters above sea level down in the steamy lowland jungles. Think about that for a second. In a remarkably narrow geographical space, the country rockets up from practically sea level to the highest point on planet Earth. This staggering elevation gap creates some of the most wild and varied climate variations you will find anywhere in the world. And that is exactly why the whole best time to visit question completely depends on what you actually want to do.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll decode Nepal's 3 climate zones, look at the best trekking seasons, head down to the lowlands for some wildlife, explore the cultural festivals, and finally, figure out how to pick your perfect trip.
Section 1. Nepal's 3 climate zones from the Terai to the Himalaya.
So, in a narrow strip of land just 150 to 250 kilometers wide, Nepal manages to pack in 3 entirely distinct climate zones. It's literally a geographic marvel. First up, we have the Terai. This is the lowland region. It's hot, it's humid, it's subtropical. This is where you're going to find the dense jungles and those amazing national parks. Moving up, we hit the mid-hills. This includes famous spots like Kathmandu and Pokhara, along with the trekking foothills. Up here, the climate is temperate, meaning you get beautifully warm days and nice, cool, comfortable nights. Finally, we push up into the high Himalaya. This is your Everest, Annapurna, and Manaslu territory. Up here, you're dealing with full-on alpine and Arctic conditions, where snow is a very real possibility year-round once you get above 4,000 meters. What you absolutely need to take away from this is that a single one-week trip in Nepal can literally take you from steamy jungle heat to Arctic cold. So season-specific planning, yeah, it's absolutely crucial.
Moving right along to Section 2. Best seasons for trekking and timing your climb.
For the trekkers out there, timing your climb is everything. It dictates trail safety, the availability of tea houses and lodges, and of course, the clarity of those famous mountain views you're working so incredibly hard to see. For trekking, there are 2 undeniable heavy hitters, autumn and spring. Autumn, which runs from September to November, is considered the absolute gold standard. The summer monsoon rains have just washed the skies completely clean, leaving behind the crispest, clearest mountain panoramas of the whole year. The trails are nicely dried out, and the tea houses are fully staffed. This is prime time for classic routes like Everest Base Camp. But spring, from March to May, is a really close second, and it comes with a spectacular bonus. The trails are just carpeted in brilliant reds and pinks as the rhododendrons, which is Nepal's national flower, burst into bloom. You generally get fantastic early-day visibility too, though you might see a bit of a pre-monsoon haze building up in the late afternoons toward May. Now you might be wondering, what if I can only travel during the summer? Usually the summer monsoon season from June to August means muddy trails, leeches, and thick, heavy clouds blocking the mountains. Honestly, not ideal. But there is a fantastic exception. Some areas, like Upper Mustang and the Dolpa region, sit in what's called a rain shadow. Basically, they are physically shielded from all those monsoon clouds by the massive Himalayan mountain range itself. Because of this really cool geographic quirk, these regions remain arid, dry, and absolutely beautiful to trek through. They're the perfect alternative if you're locked into traveling during the muddy summer months.
So, we've covered the mountains, but let's completely shift gears for a second. What if your dream adventure doesn't involve ice axes or high-altitude passes at all? What if you want to see one-horned rhinos or track wild Bengal tigers through the brush?
That brings us to Section 3, Wildlife in the Lowlands, exploring the jungles of the Terai. Down in Chitwan in Bardia National Parks, we basically have to take that mountain trekking calendar and throw it right out the window. Down here, the environment completely dictates your chances of spotting wildlife. Now, what's really interesting about this is how the seasons change the landscape. During peak safari season, from October all the way through April, the dry winter and spring weather takes over. Because it's so dry, the incredibly tall elephant grass naturally dies back, or it's actively cut by locals around January. Shorter grass means, well, you can actually see the animals. Plus, the water levels drop, which forces the tigers, rhinos, and deer to congregate right near the remaining rivers. It's literally the perfect recipe for a successful safari. On the flip side, if you go for a monsoon safari from June to August, you'll get a lush, incredibly green, uncrowded experience. But the vegetation is just so dense and the areas are so flooded that spotting wildlife becomes significantly harder. If spotting a tiger is your ultimate goal, those cool, dry winter mornings are definitely your best friend.
Let's move to Section 4. Major cultural festivals, colors, and celebrations.
Because these massive, colorful events follow the lunar calendar, the exact dates do shift slightly from year to year. But let's walk through a typical cultural timeline. Starting in the spring, usually around March, you have Holi, the famous festival of colors. It is a high-energy, incredibly joyous celebration where the streets are just filled with people throwing brightly colored powders. It's a blast. Moving into September, right as the trekking season begins, Kathmandu hosts Indrajatra. This features masks, dances, massive chariots, and even the public appearance of Nepal's living goddess. Then, bridging September and October, is Dashain. This is the big one. It's the longest and most significant Hindu festival in Nepal, lasting up to 15 days. It's this wonderful time of family gatherings, kite flying, and special blessings. Finally, following right on its heels in October or November is Tihar, the Festival of Lights. This is a truly beautiful time when homes are decorated with glowing oil lamps and specific days are dedicated entirely to honoring animals like crows, dogs, and cows.
And finally, Section 5. Picking your perfect trip and finding the golden convergence. So, let's put it all together. If you've got, say, a 12 to 18-day window for an adventure, when is the ultimate sweet spot? Well, October and November represent what I like to call the golden convergence, and all of this brilliantly illustrates why. During these 2 months, the post-monsoon skies are offering peak mountain clarity for all you trekkers out there. At the exact same time, down in the Terai, the dry weather is making the wildlife highly active and super visible. And to top it all off, the entire country is just buzzing with the energy of the 2 biggest festivals of the year, Dashain and Tihar. If you want to experience the absolute best of all 3 worlds in a single epic trip, autumn is your undisputed champion.
So, looking at the year as a whole, autumn definitely takes the largest slice of the pie for ideal overall travel conditions in Nepal. But please, don't discount the other seasons. It all depends on your specific goals. Spring takes the second largest slice, acting as a really fantastic alternative for trekkers who want to see those blooming rhododendrons and soak up the buzz of the Everest climbing season. Winter might be a smaller slice, but it offers brilliant, quiet solitude for lower altitude treks and fantastic, crisp morning jungle safaris. And even the monsoon season, the smallest slice, is the absolute secret weapon for travelers heading up to those stunning rain shadow regions of Mustang and Dolpo.
At the end of the day, Nepal is not just a single experience. It is a rich tapestry of extreme environments and deep, beautiful cultural roots. By understanding how these seasons overlap, you can engineer an itinerary that delivers exactly the adventure you are dreaming of. So, I'll leave you with this final thought as you begin sketching out your plans. Which Nepal will you discover first? Are you going to chase the snowy peaks, track wild tigers through the jungles, or immerse yourself in the vibrant, joyous colors of the festivals? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy planning.